and welcome to the Better at Beach podcast. My name is Mark Burrick, and we are here with Brandon Joyner, and we're going to have a guest today. Her name is Tania Moreno, and she played for the Olympics. She played for Spain in the Olympics, and she is currently at TCU playing the NCAA beach volleyball. So, if all goes right, we will have her here on screen and uh, what we want to do first is just get into some of our upcoming camps, which is pretty cool. So, first things first, in Hermosa, we've got lots of things happening. We have a King and Queen of the Court League happening on Monday nights. We have a 6-week course happening on, is that Tuesdays and Thursdays, Brandon?
Yep, Tuesday, Thursday morning, 7:15 to 8:45.
Nice. So if you guys want to join a
Yeah.
6-week course, that is a contract with the city that we got. So that's going to be in the mornings, and we're hoping to get that firing up. That'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we also have our small group training, our regular classes. If you know them or have been there before, then you know what those are all about. And we are opening up locations in Santa Monica and Redondo Beach. So if you are not on if you're in the South Bay or you're headed here and you're not on our local events email list, that's at betteratbeach.com/Hermosa. You could also type in /Hermosa Beach Volleyball. It's on our website, and you can sign up for that individual email list because we have two email lists, one for everybody in the world, and then the other one just specific to the South Bay. And as far as training camps, we got 3-day camps coming up. We are in the process of going back to the Dominican Republic next fall around Thanksgiving. So save after Thanksgiving for a Better at Beach camp in the Dominican Republic. Um, and upcoming camps, we have New Orleans happening March 14th, Long Island March 21st, Las Vegas March 28th, Oklahoma City at Boombox Beach Club, April 4th. Scottsdale, Arizona, April 11th. Austin, Texas, we have a really cool 2-day camp on May 2nd and 3rd. So we're doing 2 days of training, and then we're following it up with a tournament on that Sunday. So May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, you can sign up for 1 or 2 days of the camp, and you can sign up for the tournament individually. That is all on our website at betteratbeach.com/camps. And then we will be in Long Island and in San Diego May 30th, and then June 20th, headed to Virginia Beach, followed by June 27th in Milwaukee, and then we will be back in Bend, Oregon at the end of July. And we're going to Raggle Beach August 1st. So in Santa Rosa, California, if you want to come hang out with us up in Northern California, we will be there. And if you are interested in getting coached online, then we are about to finish our mental training for this season. So we've got 2 more weeks of going through our mental training and mindset for the rest of the year. And then we're heading into our passing, serving, and ball control section. So if you're looking to upgrade your passing, now is the time to get the complete beach volleyball training blueprint that is on our website. And we're going to do 5 weeks of serving and passing where you guys watch the tutorials, shoot the videos that we tell you to shoot. Then you post them to our community and we go in there and we analyze them for you. We also have a couple pricing changes coming up so that people can access our library at a discount if you don't want the coaching. And we are also going to have a package for the coaching. And then if you ever want to work with us one-on-one, where we become essentially your season and film review coach, then you can check out betteratbeach.com/film session. And if you sign up for that, you get to come to every single Better at Beach event for free after you sign up for the one-on-one program. So we got about 10 guys on that who are loving it and loving the ability to just sign up for a camp whenever they want after they sign up for the one-on-one program.
Yeah. And real quick before we intro, little podcast special we'll offer is this is off the cuff. If you are in Hermosa and you sign up for the King, Queen of the Court or the 6-week morning training sessions, I want you to email support@betteratbeach.com And if you do that, I'll give you 2 free classes to our small group training. Okay, so that's a little podcast special. We'll see if anyone takes advantage. But yeah, just email support@betteratbeach.com to take advantage of that.
Nice. I know Ben Chessing is listening and he's ready. He listens to every single podcast. So shout out to
spread
Ben.
the word, Ben, and sign up for our King of the Court. We need people like you.
Yeah. Tania.
Hi.
Hi. How are the Olympics?
The Olympics were amazing, of course, as anyone could have seen on TV or on stage. But the Olympic race, the journey, that was beautiful. And I think that was the most special thing, trying to fight for that spot. I think we started in the rankings around the hundreds or something like that. And we knew we had to qualify to the world champs with 6 good results. And then from there, keep playing as many tournaments as possible. And that pressure, that sacrifice, that consistency that we had to show every day was what really made it special once I was there at the Olympics. So yeah, if I had to say something, like the biggest takeaway was trying to qualify, and once we were there, just enjoy the experience.
That's awesome.
That's so
you
cool.
did this so you went to the Olympics representing Spain, but you're also playing beach volleyball at TCU. You're in your senior year, right? So this is your
Yes.
final year coming up. Maureen told me that you had to take off of school. So she said that you ditched school just to go to the Olympics. Is this true?
We took a gap year, Danny and I. We had to go through some paperwork, review the NCAA rules, because I think maybe only Tina Graudina did it before. So we were trying to get some background to how to do it. And once we found the way, everyone was super supportive, super helpful. We just sacrificed one academic year. It wasn't such a big deal, but we knew we were coming back. The feelings, of course, were weird because it was like a long summer, knowing that after 12 months you were going back to school. So yeah, we didn't do it too much. At least I wasn't enrolled in any other classes or studying. I was fully focused on achieving our athletic goals. And yeah, it went great.
That's awesome. What
Paid off.
What was the hardest part about? Was the hardest part leaving school or making the decision to do that, or how did your team feel about it? Did they feel upset? Were they happy? Were they like kind of both? Were they like, yeah, we're super proud of you, but we're gonna miss you?
I think, as I said, they were not just the coaching and stuff, but the teammates, players, super supportive and excited for us. Like they wanted us to shine and to get this opportunity to see if we could make our dreams come true. And it's true that we left them without one season here playing with them, but they were also putting everything they had to keep the team united with the connection of the family identity that we have. So it was nice to stay connected even we were at different parts of the world. We followed their season and they were watching every single game that we played at the not just on the Olympics but during the entire Beach Pro Tour. So the connection was still there, and yeah, and the love. So that's what matters.
I love that. What What do you think is harder? Oh, I hope this connection stays. But what do you think is harder? The preseason that you go through for a college team or for your college team at TCU, or the extended grind of the world tour where you know that you're on the road for this many months constantly going there. They're two very different beasts, obviously. Like one of them, all right, like heavy strength and conditioning, we're playing a ton of volleyball. And the other one is just this long, drawn out phase with a whole lot of question marks. What was tougher for you?
Completely different, as you said. At the end, when you're on the Beach Pro Tour, it's just your partner and you. maybe some coaches or I don't know, physios, and you're just there with that people. And with the team, you share with 24, 24, 26 more people, more emotions, more sacrifice. So it's completely different. And I think adapting in both scenarios, it's what can make you actually better. Like taking the best of each to apply it later to the next one. So for me, it was pretty hard to put all the talk that you can hear from other people actually talking about, okay, these two young ladies are trying to, they're doing great, they're going to qualify to Paris, but you didn't know till the very end because we were not in a comfortable spot. We were between the 14th and the 17th in the ranking, so we were there and had to play as many tournaments as possible to don't give the chance to other teams to get a good result. So I don't know. I think both scenarios are completely different and challenging, and just taking advantage of the adversities that you have there, learning and adapting is what actually it's gonna help you find solutions and overcome problems in a different scenario. So I don't know, to be honest, both of them.
Did you ever feel?
And just for sorry, Mark, and just to kind of help out our listeners because I think we know, but is it the top 18 are guaranteed a spot, or
top
how
17
does that work?
top 17
Top
have their
17.
spot, and then one extra is for the host country. In this case, um, France qualified by ranking, so France too got the extra spot as a host country.
Nice.
Okay. And when you're playing in those tournaments, you get your top 6 finishes, right?
Uh, for the
Is that
ranking,
how it works?
everything counts. For example, I mentioned before
Okay.
that we needed 6 good results to qualify to the
6
World
good results.
Championships. And normally, the rule is that if you get into the World Champs, you have a better chance of qualifying to the Olympics. So that was our first, very, very first goal after leaving college in May 2023. So yeah, we started with that and then tried to play and gain that spot by playing.
Very cool.
Did it ever feel coming from a team environment where obviously you have your team? I'd like to hear how many coaches and physios you had from Spain to help you out. But did it ever feel more lonely being on the world tour compared to the team environment within college?
It feels different, but it's true that Danny and I, we love making connections with other players from all over the world. So even though you're not sharing that daily bond with your teammates at lift, at practice, or team bonding, you do feel like there are less connections for sure. But once you're at the tournament, you're focused knowing that there are people, they're also sharing a goal, like in a different way, but at the end it's some sort of family too, because we share the exact same sport all over the world in different environments, and then we adapt to compete to get to achieve our goal. So it's like a special connection. I don't know, I of course I feel different because the team identity that we have here at TCU is something that I cannot have anywhere else, and I love it. But also having friends on tour makes it even better. Yeah.
It is pretty cool getting the friends around the world scattered there, and then it's for sometimes it becomes a reunion whenever you show up at the same tournament. And you're like, yeah, I like those people from Italy, or some of them you just don't want to see,
Yeah.
For your coaches, what what were the name of your head coaches for Spain for the Olympics and the World Tour?
Our head coach is Fran Marco.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the difference between those two coaches and then Gutierrez and Majo at TCU? Did they ask different things of you? Were you more in the driver's seat when it came to the world tour and the Olympics? Did their styles clash, or do you think that you just kind of benefited from different, or were they the same?
You know, as I mentioned before, here we're 25 in the team, 26. So sometimes it's hard for the coaches to get the best of each player. Sometimes the goal is more for the team, try to get the best of the team. So you don't have that just one practice where you're just practicing on what you need or your weak points, your weak spots. It's more as a global thing. And it's true that even at the beginning was hard adapting to such a big team practice when we came for the first time here to TCU. We also learn how to adapt and to get the best of those hard situations where we felt we were completely out of our comfort zones. And for example, in Spain, when we practice with our coach, sometimes it's just Danny and me with him, or our second coach might help, but it's just us and maybe a team joins us, but it's more specific, more, let's say, customized, more individualistic. So I don't know. We always say that it's good to have both things. Coming to TCU was a great opportunity, and it was risky at the beginning because we were gonna jump into a different system, different philosophy. So of course we were scared at the beginning, but I think we made a great decision by coming here and learning also from this team culture that we never have in Spain. So we're gaining other values, and we learn how to fight as a team. You're not just competing on your court, you have four more next to you, and the duel is done when you get 3 points. So it's not enough to just win on your court, you need more people there. So yeah, that's something that you would never find in Spain, at least at this moment. We don't have it.
Were there any techniques or strategies that opposed each other between your Spanish coach and your TCU coaches? Like, did they have you play defense or emphasize a certain part of your offense in a different way?
It's true that we're lucky with the connection between our coach from Spain and Hector. They're good friends, and they every now and then share some information about us. So it's not that Hector was completely changing our game, our system. There was a slight connection there, so we try to keep it as we can. Let's say, like, Hector wanted to help as much as he could. He also didn't want to step in and change something completely in a crazy different way. It's true that he, for example, started incorporating more sets to the pin for me, for example, or go option for Danny. I think a great example was the quarterfinals game at the Olympics against Brandy and Melissa. Brandy was so aggressive with the option, with the second touch there. So we know that beach volleyball is evolutionary, like in an evolutionary moment right now, and we also need to improvise, adapt to what's coming new. So it's true that Hector is now trying to work on that open pass so Danny can go on two, or then open the set a little more to the pin so I move the blocks, things like that. It's true that Hector was a little more insistent there. And I think I started hand setting consistently here at the US. When I came for the first time, the ball is different. I don't know. I was always bump setting. So every now and then I was trying to hand set, and both coaches want me to hand set, but Hector was the one actually that, I don't know, take me on court and just start hand setting. And it was softer, the ball, I don't know, it was different, and I actually gained some confidence. And yeah, here I am hand setting.
Do you like hand setting better? Do you feel like you have more control of it now that it's a part of your game, or does it still have that like discomfort?
I feel pretty confident, and some always, I don't want to say sometimes, but always my coach from Spain encouraged me to be brave, to be fearless, like to don't keep anything to myself. So if you have the opportunity to handset, just go for it. It's true that now in the Beach Pro Tour, there's a lot of drama with the lifts, and they're making a lot of calls. I don't have a problem with that. I don't lift the ball at all. Super quick contact, and that's when sometimes the ball spins a little bit because of the queen contact. I'm not afraid of that on tour because I know they're not gonna call it. I've for me, I've had so many times where I had a double contact for hand setting, and I knew they were not going to call it because it was quick. Here in college, it's way different. People lift the ball more, and every time the ball spins a little bit, they call a double contact. But it's okay. I'm also adapting to the reps here. I don't know.
That's interesting. Getting used to the two different set calls and then seeing, expecting like, oh no, that's gonna get called, and then you have to finish the play because you don't know if it's gonna get called based on World Tour standards or on NCAA standards.
Do you normally set the exact same way in a collegiate match versus a World Tour event?
Yeah, like
so you
maybe,
just do the same set.
Maybe I try to grab the ball a little bit more here. Also because it's a different type of ball, it's softer. So when I try to oops, sorry. Thank you. Sorry. So here on college, when I try to lift the ball, it's true that it looked cleaner, but every time I was hand set it quick and the ball spin, they called it. Like, no doubt. I think it happened in Hawaii. I think
collegiate, right? Okay.
Yeah. I think it happened in Hawaii. 2 or 3 sets called in one set. But what I'm not gonna like change that much or be afraid of not hand setting anymore. So I just keep trying and hope that it doesn't spin. But yeah, I work on my quick contact with the ball. Yeah, I don't try to lift it that much.
Why do you think it's important, or what have people told you the reasons for why it's important to handset? Because there's so many athletes that never did. Some still don't. Ricardo still doesn't handset, right? John Hyden almost never handset, and Misty May and Kerry Walsh didn't handset and still won. So I wonder if it's cool, if it's necessary, or if it's when handsetters say, I have better control. Is that actually true? So what reasons do you have for handsetting, and why did your coaches encourage you to do it so much?
I think you said one of the main reasons, like you can make the game more controlled, faster. You can actually set a target and have more precision to just go for that target. We can see it in the jump sets now, or all these open to pin sets with the men's, like Norwegian teams or Swedish teams. Like there's more speed, and the block ends off system. Like if you can actually have that speed on the set or that precision, the block sometimes isn't going to be perfectly aligned with the hitter. So I think it gives speed, but also controlling the game where you can actually, sometimes you have like these rush plays with the handset. You can, okay, I'm having this moment to put exactly the ball where I want to, not just bump it. And I think that can give more precision there and calmness. So yeah, control, speed, and then effectivity for the hitter to, when it's struggling with the block, to have more options and to be more precise. Yeah.
Okay. Did you guys ever do a breakdown of like pre-hand setting for your like World Tour finishes versus when you guys started hand setting? Like, did you guys notice that you were able to beat teams that maybe you weren't before that, or anything along those lines?
Yeah, 100%. I cannot think about an example right now, but personally, I think I can give my partner more hand setting than bump setting. And I love bump setting, and I think I'm pretty good at it. I have a lot of control bump setting balls that are off system, and I liked it, and I've done it since I was a kid. So it's not about what I like, it's about what the team needs. And in this case, Danny, for example, can go to the pin, and it's better for her if I give her that calmness and speed at the same time with the precision of a handset. if they don't call the double, of course. But yeah, I think there was a big change in how the game looked, more organized, more options at the same time. So yeah, I think there was a big difference.
Yeah, I think that there's like a little battle that players have to play around, especially when they're first learning how to set, is or deciding that they want to be hand setters, is deciding like, okay, are my number of doubles in a set losing me games, or is my imprecision of a bump set losing me more points? You know, I think that like that's an interesting battle. I'm sure you kind of went through that.
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because if you get a double scored, that's like losing a side out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the other team getting a defense. So that's hard, yeah, of course. But if you want to play doubles till you get the confidence and the, get rid of the fear, and then whenever the time comes, you'll have, boom, the enough confidence to set whatever balls come with your hands. So yeah, for example, with the wind, exactly the same. Sometimes it's so windy, and our coaches encourage us to handset, even if it's blowing everywhere and the ball is always off system. Just work with your feet to get under the ball and quickly have with a quick ball contact. Just like get rid of the ball, and you have more precision than if you're like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think windy situations, it's a great example that you can give more control and precision with the handset.
I like, yeah, it's probably a little, it's 2 to 4 feet less of time in the air, right? Because you're taking it higher, so maybe there's a shorter amount of time for it to get affected by the wind. I Somebody's got to run this study at some point of taking a look at bump sets in system, bump sets versus handsets, and then like back of court handsets versus bump sets, and then find a measuring stick for what a good set actually looks like. We do the work with our online group, and we'll pause it when the setter's touching the ball, and then we put the cursor where the ball should go on the hitter's arm, right? And so then we have them just rate themselves on their setting efficiency for any set, like just good or bad. To put, did it land somewhat where the cursor was or way off from that? And most people think they suck at hitting, and it's no, you're hitting fine, or we're not even up to that stage because you feel like you suck at hitting because your set isn't getting to the right spot ever. So we have no reason to work on your hitting until we fix team setting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. For sure, some studies will come, and yeah, we'll have the exact measurements and that stuff.
Yeah, ball time will do it for us. I bet.
Yeah.
They got enough stats. Is the lifting program any different? So when you're doing strength and conditioning and you're preparing for a tournament in college with your team versus being on the road and doing all the world tour, what does the strength and conditioning part of that look like for you?
I've talked about it so many times because that's probably one of the most important parts to prevent injuries, to be strong, to be quick on court. And again, the biggest difference is that here you're 26 in the weight room, and even the plan is to prepare us for season, to be at our best at the national championship at the end of the, not the year, of the season. The biggest difference, I think, is that you can get your own private strength coach, for example, in Spain, or you work with your federation strength coach and customize your work. For example, if you have a limitation on your shoulder, you're gonna get exercises done to gain more mobility, or to strengthen your shoulder in a way that helps you to get rid of that limitation. If my hips are, I don't know, same, have a limitation. Let's see if we can work in the weight room with exercises that then can be transferred into the sand so you can perform at your best on the sand. So I think that's a positive thing about just being on a one-on-one work plan with a strength coach. But also we've learned that, for example, after our first year here, that if you want to be professional, you also need to do things that help you for your own self purpose. And exactly like I said, if I have shoulder problems, okay, I get my work done with the team. It's something good. If I find something that is making me feel discomfort, then I let the coach know. But I get my work done with the team, and then as a professional, you go on your own time and do your shoulder exercises, or you go to treatment or rehab and you get your hip exercises done, so you complement the work that is being done. So it actually makes you feel better and prevents injuries or other stuff. That's a little bit easier in Spain because of the reason that you're just working one-on-one with a strength coach. Yeah.
If you have a tournament that starts Saturday,
Yeah.
what does Friday, Thursday, Wednesday look like for you in terms of weight room and practice?
Okay. TCU, college, or beach?
If you were to design it so that you feel
Okay.
it best for you.
Okay. So if I'm playing on a Saturday, the day before, for sure, I'm not lifting. I'm just getting a hour practice done with a team of the tournament or with my own teammates here at TCU. So that's just like ball practice. I wouldn't mind, for example, on Thursday, getting a lift, explosives lift. Normally, we work with speed. So um, we want to lift not as heavy as we can, but to move the weight to that corresponding speed of of that day. For example, if I want to work at zero point 0.9 meters per second, I'm going to adjust the weight to work on that speed. If I'm feeling great, maybe that day my weight is going to be more than if I'm feeling a little bit more tired. That day I'm going to be lifting less weight, but I'm going to be working at that speed because I want to be at that speed on Saturday. So it's not more about the weight, it's more about the speed for us, for me. That's how I think I perform the best. And I think my body feels great when I'm doing those explosive or adjusting the weight to get the speed that I want for the goal of that week. So yeah, the day before, just some ball practice. The day before practice, a quick lift and also some practice. And I think I would also lift probably Monday and Wednesday. Not too heavy, but something similar. Like that week is to transition what has been done in the previous weeks to get explosive, to get quick, and yeah, and probably a regeneration session after playing or something like that.
Nice. What are you using to measure the bar speed when you're operating at 0.9 meters per second? Do you have any tools or equipment that you're attaching or even traveling with?
Yeah, we used to travel with the for the beach pro tour with it's like a box with a with a rope. So you attach that to the bar. Tendo, like a tendo. Is that a word in English? Like yeah, I don't know. So it's the machine that measures the speed of the bar. So you just attach the rope, the thin cable. It's like a cable. You attach it to the bar if you're squatting, for example, and the box that measures the speed is just on the floor. So you just work there, and as you're going up and down, the cable is going up and down, and it measures the meters per second of the movement.
Awesome.
I'm a communications major, but I think that was
yeah. I've worked with that in a couple of gyms. With like a little, it's a box. It's like maybe the size of your hand, and it's usually got sometimes it has a magnet that you can like
exactly
strap onto another weight, and then you tie it to the bar, and then once you goes up, it just measures how fast you get to the top. Cool. Yeah, I've never seen somebody traveling with those on the world tour, but that's so smart. I mean, you have to be on the road forever, right?
I think now more teams are starting to travel with that. because it's how you adjust the weight for that week. Like there's no better way of seeing, oh, he or she is tired because he or she is not getting to the speed that is supposed to get. Less weight. Let's work at the speed, but with less weight. So it doesn't actually really matter to be working with less weight. It's what your body needs at that moment. Sometimes we travel, go to China, your body feels so bad. Okay, there's no need to push here with more kilos or more pounds. um, so yeah, we just use that as a tool to adjust our needs for that week. Yeah.
I love that. I think
Awesome.
a lot of volleyball players can listen to that sentence, and like one of our strength coaches in college he used to always say, "Don't get blinded by weight," and
Yeah.
I think that that's very well said. I like that.
Tania, what's one thing in the last 2 years, aside from hand setting and bump setting, that you've changed about your game, whether it was mindset, serving, the way you pass, or the cues you give yourself, or even like an offensive or defensive tactic?
Okay.
What active change have you made that was one of the biggest?
Active changes, for example, for these past 2 years, the serving, I need to be aggressive with the serve. Like me and also Danny, it's the best tool you have to. It's the only tool.
The sound just cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Now we're back.
you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So you initiate a play with the serve. That's the thing that you can control. You cannot control the passing just on the moment, but someone is going to serve stop spin, someone is going to serve floating. So you control the moment, but not like how it's going to come the ball. With the serve, it's just the ball in your hands, and you have the chance to boom, make a good serve and put the other team in trouble. And that's how you win points later. You can, because I think we have a pretty good side out, but you cannot rely on that for the entire game. Side out, side out, side out, without getting any points on defense. And the best way to get points of defense is being aggressive with the serve. So that's a mindset that I've worked a lot, starting initiating the point, being aggressive with the serve. Like it's fine to miss 2 to 3 serve. In this case, that's how we plan it. Like be aggressive, miss 2 serve per set, and if you finish the set and you didn't miss a single serve, maybe you were not being that aggressive or you didn't risk that much. So um, I tried to have that in mind during this last year. I finished a set. We didn't win. Our side out was great. Let's be aggressive on the serve. So that's one thing that I was working on. And then defense, just finish on the ground, finish on the sand. If there, if even if it's a great highland that is not even yours, or it's just like a great highland from the other team, just try to be active. Like finish on the ground, even you don't touch it, and you get a little bit sandy. Like you're there and you want you want to get the ball. So the next one, maybe you did the same and you actually get it. So having that urge of I'm just gonna touch every single ball. So that was a way for me to stay active in defense. And maybe sometimes the other team even sees, oh, this girl is just crawling and running everywhere and it's putting pressure on us. I don't know, something like that. You never know. But yeah, serving and staying active on defense, running for balls, it was one of the keys that I tried to work or to have in mind 100%. And shooting more. I just attack, and sometimes even people make fun of me or make some jokes like, I'm not gonna throw a catch shot on an important point. I'm gonna go for the kill. So be a little bit more balanced there, combining shooting with hitting. Like my coach doesn't want me to be 50-50, but at least like a 65-35 or something like that, 60-40. So combine shooting with hitting. Yeah.
When you say serve aggressive, does it always just mean more speed, or are you trying to get closer to sidelines, or are you
Yeah.
thinking just thinking constantly like, how do I mix it up? What are they passing? Well, because just had this one tournament where they're passing everything perfect, And then I was like, well, let's try this. And then I threw in a jump serve, and I was like, oh, they just don't like topspin. So then we just topspin the rest of the match, got them out of system.
Yeah.
When you're thinking, but I wasn't being like super aggressive. They just didn't like that style of serve. So are you saying more sidelines, more seams, or just more heat?
For me, how I understand being aggressive on the serve is just not like going as hard as you can to the player, because that's like a wall. If you hit so hard to a wall is gonna return the ball. So sometimes being aggressive means serving to the right arm, because that's the weakest spot that that player has. Line to line, or final middle, serve short, like move the player that is receiving the ball, so it gets in trouble. Or maybe just every now and then go boom, go for a hard serve, or change it into a top spin where it's more of a power serve. So depending on the player and the win, the situation, being aggressive on the serve can include looking for the spaces that the players aren't there, or just, yeah, I don't know, getting the other team in trouble. Doesn't have to be just hard, but yeah.
So are you looking for when you serve, and you and Danny if you talk about it, do you say, hey, this girl doesn't like serves on her right arm? Is that something that came from stats, or are you figuring that out in game as it goes?
Normally from stats and scouting, like we just, maybe we have a perception during the game if we haven't prepared our game plan before, and when we serve to the right shoulder she misses, okay, let's keep the right shoulder. But normally, for example, for the Olympic Games, we had a time to prepare our pool games that were like published, I think, I don't know, 3 weeks, 2 weeks before starting the competition. So we had a time to prepare, to analyze with stats. I think every team has their own way of going through stats and taking notes with teams. But yeah, and you see tendencies, we look for tendencies. So if a player has trouble in the middle, and then we can get rid of her best shoot, I don't know, high line or whatever, we're gonna start from the middle. Even if she passes great in the middle, then she's not gonna play that much on the pin, maybe, I don't know, things like that. So yeah, normally we prepare our games looking for tendencies, going through stats, and then for the serve, as you said, if that player has a weak point somewhere, being aggressive doesn't mean just boom going hard on her, but less power, more precision on getting that line to line serve, something like that.
Cool. I think a lot of people will get blinded by the word aggressive for serving, and they'll turn to each other and say, we got to be aggressive. And then they just serve as hard as they can, but it still ends up right in the person's lap. Where I've changed since I was younger, I've changed my perception of what does it mean to serve aggressive. Now it means like serve thoughtfully, aim at very specific spots, and then once I get that spot, see if I can add extra speed to it, as opposed to just going and hammering jump serves and like very very different mentality that I've switched in the past 15 years.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah, we're all trying to grow here. Okay. Last question, and then we just get to go hang out with our members. But I really appreciate you being here and taking the time. It's been super fun.
I'm enjoying.
I'd love to have you on again because it's fun talking to you. What is one thing that you think the majority of people mess up on defense? What do they get wrong defensively?
Defense just by defending the ball or by finishing the entire transition, because sometimes just getting a dig, defending a hard attack, it's meaningless if you don't finish that defense. And that's when frustration comes. So imagine I run a high line, I get such a nice, beautiful dig, I get the picture, I can see from the photographer back there, and then transition set off the net. I approach earlier than I used to, ball is behind, I don't get the point. Then you just go to the side out again. So for me, defense involves a lot of things. If you just want to talk about defense, I can answer your question just about defense. If you want me to go a little bit more there, you let me know. I don't know.
Let's go for this episode. Let's just go basic, like just defense, either
Okay.
positioning, tactics, or what people's feet or hands are doing.
Yeah.
Whatever you can and figure out.
I think a great defender first needs to believe it's a great defender, have the courage and the passion of defending. I think that helps a lot. And then we have our tactical, technical things. But feeling inside here, deep in your heart, that you're a defender, it's actually going to help you later go get all those balls. So that's the first thing, like believe you're a defender and have that feeling. And then I am a type of defender that doesn't move that much. Don't cheat. Like run. You maybe sometimes you have some reading, and you can. Some people are more talented there reading other teams, but if you don't have the skill, be patient. Patience is also such a good skill for defense, and if it's, I guess it depends on the player, on who you're playing against, but as I said before, stay active, like finish ball, like finish running, even if you think you're not getting there. That's going to help you later to believe you are almost there. And then technical, shoulders I think they're pretty important. You're trying to defend in a hard driven angle, fix your shoulders. Even if it's one arm, stay strong with your shoulders so the ball doesn't go back. Or I think your shoulders have a lot of control there, and hips low, your body to the sand. Just stay low there, and connecting that hip hip movement with your shoulders is gonna have make you have the control of the ball. And when if it's dynamic defense, I would say same thing. First steps, don't go to the sand too fast. And that's something that always my coach tells me, because I have that mindset of just finishing on the ground, and sometimes I just forget of boom, initiating with two strong steps and then crawling and diving. So yeah, I think shoulders, hips staying low, and initiating for the dynamic defense with 2 3 strong steps. And here something that I've noticed in America, I don't know, it's just like the flying defense. Some defenders just like fly and get the ball. It's like I don't even know if I can do that. And for example, Haley Howard, I think she's one of the mm, best defenders that show that. Like she cannot even get there, and then she jumps, flies, and she's diving into the highline. Like that's impressive. I think that's a skill that you need to have it too. Like it's hard to teach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I like it.
Cool.
I like, from the basics, like I like the patience talk that you gave of like not moving too much, just sit there and then challenge the race. We see a lot of beginner and intermediate defenders, like they sit in the middle, and then they run to one side and then they run to the other. And it's like, even if you end up in the right position, your body's not actually going to be ready to make the dig. Like, let's see if this person actually has an accurate high line that can beat you in a running race before we start doing all the movement and everything back there. But yeah, I love the hip and shoulder talk. That's hips low is massive. Cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Tania.
Great.
Good tips.
Do you like playing defense?
I love defense. I was a born libero who was forced to hit,
Yeah. I just hate running up to the net. So that's defense has become more popular the more I hate running up.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we head out, where can people follow what you're doing, keep up with your career, and see you take down a few championships at TCU?
Well, we have the TCU Beach Volleyball Instagram account. They post a lot about our regular season on that Instagram account. I use my Instagram to every now and then post, and we have a team Instagram, Dan, starting with the Dan from Danny, Tan from Tania. So yeah, follow along on Instagram, and yeah, love beach volleyball.
Go volleyball.
Awesome. Ryan, thank you so much. This is such a great talk. We'd love to have you back. Fantastic. Good luck internationally. Good luck with TCU and finishing up your college career. It's special. It's fun. Enjoy the hell out of it, and really appreciate you coming by and spending some time.
Of course. I enjoyed so much, so thank you for having me, and maybe till next time.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Tania.
Go Frogs.
Frogs. All right. From me, Tania, and Brandon, and everybody at Better at Beach, go Frogs. We'll see you on the sand. Thanks, Tania. That was awesome. I got to split. I got to run and catch up with my players. But fantastic meeting you and talking to you. That was awesome. And for sure, we would love to have you back. If you ever